Christian Bale's Batman is easily the default and most recognized on-screen live-action Batman. First appearing in 2005 in Batman Begins, we get to see Batman's origin story depicted in a slow build yet highly intriguing manner. From Bruce Wayne losing his parents, getting under the care of his butler and close friend Alfred, to him leaving Gotham, training under the League of Shadows, under his mentor Ra's al Ghul, learning all martial arts, comes back to a dumpster Gotham, slowly learned his way around being Batman with the help of Lucius Fox, and fights Scarecrow, Maroni, and a returning Ra's al Ghul, while his alter ego Bruce Wayne gets back his company and restores the Wayne's family legacy. The second movie follows a now experienced Batman taking on multiple gangs, Harvey Dent's Two-Face, and of course the Clown Prince of Gotham himself, Joker, played by the legendary Heath Ledger in an iconic Oscar-winning performance. In this movie, Batman's intelligence as the world's greatest detective is put to test, since most of his villains aren't even strong in any way whatsoever. They are all pure smart, and their actions forces Batman to be in a dilemma and lose his lover, friend, and the love from his city. This is easily the greatest Batman movie. Hell, this is one of the greatest movies ever made, and it's not even close. And finally, The Dark Knight Rises followed a retired Batman out of action for years. Bruce Wayne is battling several injuries, and an old acquaintance, Bane, comes to Gotham. He takes control of it, confronts Batman, gets his back broken, gets thrown to prison, and comes back after months of preparing to help liberate Gotham in an all-out war with Bane.
I'm Batman.
Christian Bale's Batman is the whole package, a balance of Bruce Wayne and Batman occupying almost equal screen time. Realistic, compelling, well-written villains portrayed by talented actors, and of course the epic Hans Zimmer score. These movies are timeless, rewatchable, and good because they were written by people who respected the source material and adapted the most iconic Batman stories. Frank Miller's Year One heavily inspired Batman Begins. The Killing Joke and The Long Halloween heavily inspired The Dark Knight, while Nightfall and No Man's Land was a direct influence for The Dark Knight Rises. And Christopher Nolan made it as grounded to reality as possible. Gotham was basically Chicago. There were no meta-human villains like Poison Ivy, Mr. Freeze, or Clayface. Everyone was just real evil people doing real evil things like blowing up a hospital, poisoning the water system, and taking over a city. And Batman had almost believable gadgets. Overall, I give Christian Bale's portrayal a solid 9.5 out of 10. Next up is Ben Affleck. Having appeared in 4 official projects between 2016 to 2023, Batfleck is regarded as the most problematic yet most frequently appearing Batman. Hold on to that point, we'll get to it in a second. Batfleck portrayed the grizzled, old, scrawny, and downright merciless version of Batman created by Frank Miller in The Dark Knight Returns. First appearing in Batman v Superman: Dawn of Justice, co-starring the Superman played by Henry Cavill. This story follows Batman on a quest to beat and punish Superman after the events of Man of Steel, where we saw a massive destruction of Gotham and Metropolis after Superman fights with Zod. You know, this movie could have been an easy solid 10 out of 10 if the premise just ended there. But no! Instead, we got a convoluted mess of a story that was quickly trying to set up an expanded universe to catch up to the MCU. Wonder Woman was there to set up her own movie the following year. We had a side quest with Lex framing Superman, another Lex side quest creating Doomsday, an abandoned alternate timeline showing evil Superman, Batman discovering the Justice League in a hard drive stolen from Lex Luthor. I mean, the plot was just fucking everywhere. It was so hard to keep up. And when we finally got to the Batman vs Superman part in the movie, after teasing us for a god knows how long, it was really anticlimactic because Batman discovers that their mother shares a first name.
Why did you say that name?
Lol. I mean, come on, this never gets old. On the bright side, whenever Batman was seen on screen, it gave us epic scenes like the warehouse scene, saving the slave scene, the shootout scene, the fight with Doomsday, and of course, this scene.
Tell me, do you bleed?
He had a brief cameo in the Suicide Squad with Deadshot and Harley Quinn and Joker that no one even remembers, and also several cameos in the 2023 atrocity Flash movie. In my opinion, I think his most important appearance was in the Zack Snyder Justice League movie, since he was literally at the center of everything and helped recruit the Justice League, revive Superman, and fight Steppenwolf. He was also the MC in the again irrelevant and useless alternate nightmare scene. Ben Affleck's Batman was just a victim of poor studio management. He had everything adapted from the right comics, had the coolest gadgets from the coolest Batmobile, the Batpod, the Batwing, the Batplane, the Nightcrawler. He had 4 freaking suits, like the BVS suit, the mech suit for fighting Superman, the Nightmare suit, the tactical suit, and whatever this was. In my opinion, this Batman never worked because it was just the wrong Batman at the wrong time. Get this, Frank Miller's Batman should be semi-retired and old. Ben Affleck was portraying this version, but somehow was just meeting Superman and Wonder Woman. He was just setting up the Justice League. I mean, come on, where is the consistency in the the timeline. Also, remember when I said this was the most problematic? Check this out. Ben Affleck was supposed to appear in many cancelled projects, like a cancelled Batman solo movie starring Deathstroke, 2 cancelled Justice League movies, and a cancelled Cyborg movie. Zack Snyder was screwed out of his vision, and a mediocre Batman directed by Joss Whedon was given to us. Overall, I'll give Batfleck a 4 out of 10. I mean, he had potential but fell into the wrong creative hands. Robert Pattinson's take on the Caped Crusader is the latest portrayal, and I'm not gonna lie, it's slowly growing in on me as my favorite. As of making this video, he has only appeared once in Matt Reeves' The Batman, starring him as Bruce Wayne and Batman, Andy Serkis as Alfred, Zoe Kravitz Catwoman, and Jeffrey Wright as Commissioner Gordon, with the 2 main villains Penguin and Riddler done by Colin Farrell and Paul Dano. So why do I like this version of Batman? And I'll go back to my earlier point with the Christopher Nolan movies. It is grounded in reality. It's really funny how the best Batman stories are when he is doing normal Batman human stuff, solving riddles from the Riddler, doing actual detective work, and going against grounded in reality villains like a serial killer Riddler who uses social media and a cult following to lead a string of terrorist attacks. Robert Pattinson embodies the young and inexperienced Batman trope, barely using sophisticated gadgets, making rookie mistakes like a hard landing, relying on Alfred in his detective work, actually being one step behind a villain when he failed to save the mayor from the bomb, and when he thought the Riddler knew his secret. This Batman is relatable. He is the funny part. He's not even called Batman in this movie, and his Batmobile, if you can really call it that, is just a tuned up muscle car. And his suit? It's nothing fancy, it's just bulletproof at most. The Batman was a commercial hit that quickly spawned a sequel and the Penguin series spin-off. Robert Pattinson serves as a breath of fresh air and a much-needed reboot from the alternate timeline, old, meta-human themed his predecessor was. Overall, I'll give his interpretation an 8 out of 10. The only negative thing about it was the lack of a difference between Bruce Wayne and Batman, because I really felt like I'm watching the same person most of the time. But his aura is impeccable. Michael Keaton's Batman is regarded as the original live-action Batman, directed by Tim Burton, starring Keaton, Jack Nicholson as Joker, Michelle Pfeiffer as Catwoman, and Danny DeVito as Penguin. Believe it or not, this pairing was supposed to be in a trilogy, but because of interference from the dumbest studio in Hollywood history, it never happened. The first movie follows Bruce Wayne already a few years into the role of the Caped Crusader as he tries to restore order in Gotham, fighting low-time crooks and mob bosses. However, one thing led to another, and a certain twisted deranged mob dealer called Jack, played by a Jack, fell into a vat of chemicals and led to the creation of Joker, who becomes the main villain of the movie. I'm not gonna lie, Jack Nicholson really nailed it as the Joker. And Batman really unalived a lot of people in this movie. I mean, just look at this. The second film sees Bruce, now probably 5 years into Batman, still fighting crime, but starts off with a scene where a couple throws a deformed baby into a sewer ashamed with his looks, who was founded by sewer penguins and grows up to take penguin features because he's raised by penguins. I'm not even making this up, seriously, that's how Penguin was formed in this movie. Also, we get Selina Kyle, who works for a generic evil boss, and after she discovers his evil plans to rule Gotham, she gets pushed off a window and falls like, 20 floors down, and is on the verge of death until some random street rats start licking her and save her, and she becomes Catwoman. Okay, I'm not making this up. This is the actual plot of the movie. Random group of penguins raised a kid and he developed penguin features. Random cats saved a random woman and she develops cat behaviors. That's the fucking script we are going with. What I liked about Michael Keaton's take on Batman was it was more of a Tim Burton's movie than an actual Batman movie. It has extreme set designs, weird storylines, and a very gothic vibe. While the first film made a ton of money, the second movie kinda did okay. Well, it was almost a flop. These movies are actually very much rewatchable if you're watching it for the vibes. All you have to do is just shut down your mind about some really dumb plot points and, you know what, enjoy the movie. Next, we're going to kill 2 bats with 1 stone and focus on Val Kilmer and George Clooney. Yeah, I think we can all unanimously agree that this period was the worst mediocre Batman period in existence. Spearheaded by one of the worst directors to ever exist, Joel Schumacher, it's safe to say that these 2 movies left a permanent stain on Batman's legacy. Batman Forever starred Val Kilmer as Batsy, Nicole Kidman as whatever the hell she was, Tommy Lee Jones as Two-Face, and Jim Carrey, yeah, that one Jim Carrey, as the Riddler. I am not even going to waste time summarizing the script, if there was even any to begin with, but everything about this movie was just extremely garbage. Over-the-top goofy acting from the villains, very bad dialogue, unnecessary nipple and butt shots, and Val Kilmer, This guy was barely even trying to be in the movie. Every delivery, every dialogue, every acting seemed like he was just forced to be there, collecting a quick paycheck for the least minimal work. His chemistry with Nicole Kidman was barely believable and kinda cringe. This has got to be the dumbest portrayal of Batman. I mean, he couldn't even connect that Edward Nygma was the Riddler. Seriously, don't watch this shit. Oh, by the way, this random guy appears out of nowhere. I guess he's Robin.
Batboy, Nightwing.
Okay, remember when I said Batman Forever went over the top with the goofiness and clownish themes? You will think from the poor audience reception, bad box office, the lead actor leaving after the first movie will be a wake-up call to the studio and director to tone down the goofiness, to tone down the mediocrity and focus on a solid script. Nope. This is Warner Brothers, the dumbest studio in Hollywood, and their response to all this was to double down on all the negativity. More nipple shots, more goofy dialogues, more over-the-top bad acting. Get this, when you're talking about Joel Schumacher's Batman run, it's impossible to talk about the plot because there were none. It was two actors basically collecting paychecks. Here's the funny part, Arnold Schwarzenegger was paid more than George Clooney, despite George Clooney being Batman. Let that sink in. He's gone on record apologizing about it as many times as he could, and at least he got to kinda redeem himself one last time in that stupid Flash movie. I don't know. Overall, this was easily the darkest Batman era, and I'm glad everyone unanimously agreed to forget it ever existed.
Hi, Freeze. I'm Batman.
Adam West is regarded as the first ever live-action Batman who appeared in the classic 60s Batman TV show that ran for a total of 3 seasons and 120 episodes, and 1 live-action movie. For what it was and when it came out, I can pretty much say it hit the target audience. Adam West was surprisingly good as Bruce Wayne. Funny enough, his goofy side was when he was Batman. When he was Bruce Wayne, he was serious. It also starred Burt Ward as Robin, and together they made a total of approximately 10 plus combined appearances across different medias, including the Super Friends cartoon, Family Feud, and even Family Guy. Adam West was the right Batman for the right period because looking back at the stories that were written for the Batman comics in that time period, it's safe to say that it's pretty much spot on. Unfortunately, Adam West's career outside Batman didn't really take off. If he wasn't appearing in a goofy role, he was making garbage movies no one ever heard of. Overall, I give him a 6 out of 10. He tried and gave it his all. David Mazous is so far the youngest actor to ever play Bruce Wayne and Batman, starring in the popular and beloved Gotham TV show. This show follows Bruce Wayne as he slowly navigates his way into becoming Batman. The one thing that I love about this show is how we don't actually get to see Batman until literally the final episode. So we are stuck with Bruce Wayne. Bruce Wayne as he actually grows from a small boy to a young vigilante. Bruce Wayne as he trains in the League of Assassins, gets control of his company and his relationship with Alfred. And it also answers the Batman's universe biggest question. I think everyone assumes they all magically appear the day Bruce Wayne first suits up as Batman. But no, we get to see Oswald Cobblepot before he was Penguin, Edward Nygma before he was the Riddler, Jonathan Crane before he was Scarecrow, Selina Kyle, Poison Ivy, and Jerome Valeska before... well, we'll get to that in a minute. Basically, Gotham is the greatest Batman origin story ever written as it answers all the questions in the comics. But the one main problem with David Mazous as Bruce Wayne and the whole show in general is that they were limited and restricted by the dumbest studio in Hollywood. Since Batman and Joker was set for the big screen, it meant a lot of things were off limits. Like the name Bat, the character Joker, it's impossible to refer to these two as Batman and Joker. Even though they were obviously portraying them, you can call this a Batmobile. They couldn't even use the Batman logo in the spotlight. But despite all this, David Mazous brought his A game, giving us smart Bruce Wayne, arrogant Bruce Wayne,
You're no longer my legal guardian. Alfred, you're fired.
playboy Bruce Wayne, and deeply caring Bruce Wayne. He was almost flawless, and it's really gonna be a shame not to shout out Ben McKenzie as Commissioner Gordon. Hell, you can even say he was the main character of the whole show. I'll give David Mazous and the whole Gotham show a solid 8.5 out of 10. Seriously guys, go watch it, it's worth it. And finally, we now look at the voice actors who portrayed Batman across various mediums like games, movies, and TV shows. Famously known as the voice of Batman in the animated series and the Arkham games, Kevin Conroy is one of the greatest voice actors of all time. His voice is literally Batman.
I am Batman!
Apart from Batman the Animated Series, Kevin did voiceovers for Adventures of Batman and Robin, Justice League cartoon, Justice League Unlimited, and all 4 Arkham games, including that bad Suicide Squad game that massively flopped, with his final work being on the Crisis on Infinite Earth movies. He briefly appeared in the Arrowverse as a version of the live-action Batman, but yeah, let's try to forget this ever happened. If I have to give an actual perfect score for a Batman actor, I'ma go with him. Rest in peace, Kevin. We'll always love you. The next three voice actors have alternated in various animated projects over the years, but Jason O'Mara trumps over them all with the most appearances, with him being the official voice of Batman in the DC animated universe that lasted between 2012 to 2021. He appeared in almost over 10 projects, and his best work in my opinion was in The Son of Batman. Jensen Ackles,
Knock knock, who's there? Go fuck your face.
yeah, that one Jensen Ackles, has been featured as Bruce Wayne and Batman in Batman the Long Halloween movies and these others. I don't know, he was Jason Todd.
Jason.
Yes.
And finally, Will Arnett, popularly known as Lego Batman. Might not be everyone's cup of tea, but Will's ability to almost perfectly and simultaneously give a stellar performance is second to none.
No.
The Lego Batman movies and the Lego movies all did quite well at the box office. There is just something in watching and hearing Will Arnett's voice do his magic, and it's really breathtaking. And in my opinion, the first Lego movie is seriously underrated and should be talked about more. Obviously, I really can't go talking about all the Batman voice actors because there are a shitload of them. I mean, just look at all this. But in my opinion, these four stand out from all of them. Anyway, there you have it, guys. All Batman actors in a single video. Let me know in the comments who is your favorite, and I will catch you in the next one. Kwaheri.